game that, as he mentioned, was tied at the half and the second half didn't go your way. Just give me your impressions on the game.
Well, obviously we certainly hope for a better result, but I think you have to give New Hampshire a lot of credit. They had a very good plan. They executed extremely well, and we knew going into the game that there would be challenges that we would face, and we certainly did. They brought in a two-game winning streak. They had the week off, to rest up and heal up a little bit. But I think they just played extremely well, particularly in that second half. And as you said, after a back and forth first half, where both teams had an opportunity to take the lead. It was tied. And in the second half, in particular, the third quarter, the New Hampshire dominated the possession time. I think it was like 13-2 in terms of minutes. They scored 2 touchdowns in that quarter, which was ultimately the difference. So, you have to give them a lot of credit, and it's hard to score points when your offense is on the sideline.
What were they able to do? Because nobody is really obviously the turnovers played a big part of it, and that didn't help. But you guys have been so prolific all year long. What were they able to do to slow you down?
Well, they did a great job, I think, in particular with their defensive line and what they did schematically there. We were 0 for 3 on terminal downs and all in the plus territory, the 23, the 34, the 36-yard line. They forced 3 turnovers on the day, all in the second half. And that's 6 missed opportunities that we had, where we, in the past we had gone and gotten points, but because of the job that they did, we were unable to get it. And I think you've got to give them credit for their offense too. They had 250 of their 380 yards all in the second half, and they kept our offense on the sideline, and I thought they played extremely well. They made it a long afternoon for us.
You mentioned the fourth downs. You guys are over 3. I think maybe those were all in the first half, and as you said, all in plus territory. You guys have been so good at converting those all year long. Do you just feel like philosophically that's something you got to continue to keep doing because you guys have had so much success?
Well, I think it is. I think it's something that, we want to be aggressive from an offensive standpoint. We feel we do have some decent weapons on that offensive unit, and we want to give them an opportunity to make plays. A couple of them, I just think, we weren't as successful on Saturday as we have been in other games. So, again, that's a credit to their defense. I mean, and they were prolific all day long. They had 5 sacks. They forced 4 fumbles. We were 0 for 3 on fourth downs, and it's very difficult to win when you have a day like that.
Question for you this morning from Jake. Good morning, Jake.
Good morning, Rob. Good morning, Coach Callahan.
Hey, Jake.
I just had a question about, look, obviously with the loss, it does maybe give a little bit of I guess, clarity of what the situation is these final 2 games heading into the playoffs. I guess, what do you maybe take away from that, knowing kind of the situation this team is in, what needs to be accomplished, and maybe how do you spin that forward as far as maybe solidifying this team's identity going into
there's no really spin to it, Jake. You got to win games. I mean, that's the bottom line. I mean, and we've always felt that way every week of the season. We got to go out and we got to win. We got to be 1-0 this week. That hasn't changed given our situation right now. It's the same as it was going into last week's game. You go out on Saturday, you have to win. And if you do that often enough, the rest of the things in terms of postseason will take care of itself. But we're not even focused on that right now. We're focused on doing what we have to do to win the game this week.
Awesome. Thank you, Coach.
Yep.
Coach Cal, what makes Matt Bez has certainly had a great year for them at quarterback, not only as a thrower, but as a runner. What makes him so tough to defend with what he can do?
Well, I think you just said it, Rob. He's a dual threat type of guy, and he picks his spots to run. Some of them aren't design runs. They're opportunities that he gets when he pulls a ball down, and it's a pass play, but he sees an opening where the coverage is maybe his deep end, and he gets a lane that he can escape through the defensive line, and he picks up key yardage, and he did that on several occasions on Saturday. That and those type of plays are backbreakers. You think you get him into a third down situation, the quarterback gets out, he picks up positive yard, gets the first down, and then you've got to start all over again. And then I think he throws the ball extremely well. He's very accurate. He doesn't put the ball in positions where you're going to have a chance to get it. He's very safe with it that way. So when you play a guy like that who also manages the game extremely well, it's very difficult to defend him.
Last Thursday, Derek Robertson was given one of the CAA's most prestigious award, the Chuck Boone Leadership Award. We've talked often, and I think everybody knows what a great player on the field Derek is, but this award is more than that. It talks about his academics, his leadership. I just wanted to get your comments on what makes him such a good recipient, and maybe some stuff that people don't see off the field that Derek provides for your team and your program.
Well, he's a very special person. He's first of all, he's a great leader. He's still one of the best leaders we have on our team, even though he's not active right now. And he also does a great job in the classroom. He's one of the best students that we have on our squad right now. He's going to have his master's degree come December, and he's got a great future in front of him. He's just a terrific young man. He's the type of guy you want on your team.
Your team Saturday heads back out on the road, where you guys have been extremely successful to go against the North Carolina A&T team that is certainly much improved over the last couple of years. As you started to dive into them a little bit, what are some of the challenges they present?
Well, like you said, we haven't played them, I think, since 2021 was the last time we played them. But offensively, they've got good balance in terms of the run and the pass. They've got a quarterback who is a dual threat type of guy. He's effective both running the ball and throwing it. When you take out his sack yardage, he's the number 3 rusher on their offensive unit. And then they've been playing 2 running backs, number 35 and number 9, are both averaging, I think it's over 4 yards a carry, or right about that number. And they've got talented receivers on the outside, and they've got 3 guys all with double-digit yards per catch. And there's good balance in terms of the number of catches that each one of them has. As usual, we're playing an offensive line that has tremendous size. And as I've said on previous calls, we're not a big team in terms of our defensive line, and that always poses a challenge for us. So they've got all the weapons that they need on offense, and then on defense they've got I think their linebacker core is excellent, starting with number 3, who's their leading tackler, I believe, and they've got good guys in the secondary. So all in all, it's a talented team, and a team that we've had a limited history with. They've got speed on both sides of the ball, so they're going to we'll have a big challenge again this week.
Question for you this morning from Donald. Good morning, Donald.
Good morning, Rob. I appreciate it. Good morning, Coach Callahan. How you doing?
Hey, Donald.
Good. I just want to kind of get your thoughts. Can you tell me what kind of running back you have in Rodney Nelson? Boy, I mean, he's, you're talking about 1,570 yards, averaging 6.2 yards per carry with 15 touchdowns.
He's just a little guy that finds good cracks. That's all he is. I mean, he's a very talented athlete. He's not the biggest guy in terms of his physical stature, but he has a knack for finding the seams in the offensive line, and he doesn't need a really big hole to be successful. He just needs a crack in the offensive line, and he'll find a way to squeeze himself through. And I think the other thing that he has going for him, he's got deceptive speed, and he runs a lot bigger than his size would indicate.
Do I see that correctly? 1 field goal attempt this year? Is that right?
I think that is right. Yes, sir.
So what sort of, I mean, if and I see you're 50% on 4th down conversions, 15 of 30, but you don't really get yourself in that situation. It seems that way. Just kind of speak. I mean, you got to, speak to your offense, I guess, as a whole. It's very high powered.
We've been fortunate to have some success on the offensive side. It's all about moving the chains, keeping it moving any way that we can, whether we have to run it, whether we have to throw it, whether we need 4 downs to do it or 3 downs to do it. But that's really just the way that we've been, kind of our philosophy there.
And then in last thought, the quarterback, Derek Robertson, putting up great numbers, 72% of his passes, 27 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. Speak to the type of quarterback he is and the success that he's had.
Well, he's a very cerebral quarterback. When he throws the ball, he puts it where our receivers can get it, and it makes it difficult for the defenders to get their hand on it. But he also is very good at getting us into the proper play. We give him a lot of leeway on the line of scrimmage to change plays, to get us into the proper play, whether it's a package or an RPO, and he's done an outstanding job at that.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate the time.
Thanks, Donald.
Right. Thanks, Donald. Coach Cal, thanks as always for the time here this morning.